Some
He went to practice, right?
That's about the only thing in there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. It's not a lot this month.
That is neat. I went in 2010, Tigers first year back.
Yeah.
They live in Stone. I think I enjoyed that better than I would have the actual. The tournament system, it's undersized.
You ready?
I guess we're back at that corner, yeah. Oh.
All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to the April 11th Metropolitan School District of North Posey regular school board meeting. We'll open the meeting by joining me in the Pledge of Allegiance, and the flag is back behind. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, our first item on the agenda is patrons' concern. The sheet I have shows nobody has signed up. Is that correct? Anybody here that wanted to sign up for patron concern that did not? All right, we'll mark that accordingly. Oh, yeah, sorry, I got ahead of us. Go ahead.
Okay. Vision, we inspire all students to achieve their potential for learning and life in a safe and supportive environment. Mission, we partner with our community to create a dynamic and innovative educational experience, empowering students to become educated, productive, and responsible citizens. Our core beliefs are we believe our community is vital to our educational success. Everyone is valued and treated with respect, and always telling the truth, an educational opportunity for all. Student-centered programs challenging and inspiring learning, and in the pursuit of excellence through a strong sense of priority. Our pride. Our high priorities are enhancing the student experience, investing in teachers and administrators, fostering strong relationships among all, and then maximizing resources.
All right, thank you for that. Next item is the approval of the minutes, the claim docket, and consent items that were sent out previously to everybody. I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes in the consent list.
Second,
I'll second that.
so a motion by Mrs. Wills, seconded by Mr. Schmidt to approve the appendix claim docket and consent items. Any comments or questions?
Just curious what the repairs on the baseball lights were.
The costuming,
Yeah.
I've not seen that yet.
Okay.
So you're talking about the lights.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do know that right after we got them repaired, that one of them got hit.
I was gonna say the one facing straight down.
Yeah, so
Lights not burning or?
yeah, we had replaced the lights before baseball season got started. So, but yeah, I've not seen that yet.
Yeah, I noticed that Sunday. You go out there on the left field foul pole, you got one pointing straight down.
So I do know Mounts Electric did that, but I'm not sure what the cost is on it. So I'll let you know that. I'll send an email out to everybody tomorrow. I'll find that out. Do want to point out a couple of resignations or retirements of some longtime individuals in education. And first off is Sandra Jung is retiring as our speech therapist after 10 and a half years with the corporation, but 40 years of teaching. So we want to recognize her and wish her the best as she heads off kind of into retirement. Also, Pamela Spahn is retiring in 2022, and she as well has been involved with our special education students here, and so we wish her the best as she retires. And a lady that's not retiring from teaching position, but retiring from a long time as our 8th grade basketball coach is Stacy Vogel, and we want to thank her and her years of service that she's done for our athletic programs. So,
Absolutely. All right, we have a first. Go ahead.
oh, and really quickly, Elise Murray's first day was today, so as our special education director, but she has Amanda Merkley here this evening. So Elise, you want to introduce Amanda, and Amanda, you're allowed to say some things too if you want to.
So this is Amanda Merkley. She is going to be our school psychologist here at North Posey. She currently works for the Posey County Special Ed Services, so she is very familiar with our schools and our students, and I'm really excited for her to be on our team, and she has the same visions and about moving this program forward, so I'm very excited for her.
And a past graduate too, of
Yes,
North Posey. So,
Well, we're excited to have you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Congratulations.
we also have another person with us this evening. So, do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Billy Roberts.
So, and she's going to be joining us as our evening custodian at South Terrace. And I know Mrs. Kester said a lot of great things about you. So, congratulations, Billy. Good to have you on board. So,
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
that's all we have.
All right. So now that we've thanked everybody, we ought to vote on it. So we have a first and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. The motion carries. 5-0. Okay. New business.
First up this evening, we have County Commissioner Randy Thornburg with us. Mr. Gentile had asked for me to contact one of our county commissioners, kind of give us an update on our broadband installation and the Blairsville, Waitsville sewer project, since they really impact this end of the county. So Randy's going to join us and kind of give us an update, sir. Thanks for coming.
All right.
Appreciate it.
The glass on, so make sure I don't miss anything. I guess the first topic will be the sewers. They're both equally important. Actually, both these topics are the reason I ran for commission to start with. They were long overdue. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Randy Thornburg, lifetime resident of Posey County. Graduated in North Posey. Got a degree from criminal justice from the University of Evansville, and a bachelor's in business from Oakland City. I serve on 4 other boards in the county: solid waste, area plan, sewage board, and Indiana workforce development. Sitting on our sewage board is Dwayne Ackerman, he's the president, Aaron Wilson, Kent Winter, Rodney Cox, Cheryl Wright, and recently Pat Beeman replaced the late Denny Schaefer. Our attorney is Ted Zemer. The Posey County Sewer District was formed in 2019. We, as a board, have selected 7 geographic areas. I get a little map here. That we considered are top of our priorities moving forward. St. Wendell area, Wadesville, Blairsville, and Parker Settlement District, St. Phillips, and Harbortown is the subdivision out on Highway 62, and Mars Center. Those are primary, that's our plan to move forward on those areas. Harbortown is actually already in service. It's been there for a little over a year now. And it's the exact same system we're going to put in at Wadesville. It's a low pressure system. I was going to give you a little bit of background on, because people, they're not familiar with that type of system. Although it's been around a long time, it's pretty popular up in northern Indiana. Wessler's Engineering out in Annapolis designed this facility. And as I stated, we recently broken ground. Future areas will be Parker Settlement, St. Philip, St. William, Mars. The contract awarded, we get 2 different contractors working on this. One's for piping and one's for the plant itself. The contract awarded the pipe bid on the project was Reynolds Contracting, and the company awarded the building of the plant itself was Graves Contracting. When actual operations began, the plants built were in service. All stop plumbing will be utilized as servicing our area. The Posey County Sewer District saw an urgent need for areas outside Mount Vernon, New Harmony, Poseyville, and Cynthiana, because those areas rely on private septic systems. All these areas have failed septic systems in them, although a lot of them think they don't. They do. We've done tremendous amount of testing around the area. We applied for and was selected for a grant from the Indiana Finance Authority for $14 million to construct the Wadesville Blairsville sewage system. The state is behind us 100% because they knew how bad the system was there in our area. The advantages of the low pressure system are avoid expense. The state wanted us to reduce the cost. Our original design, we thought we'd go with the gravity system like everybody's used to, but they immediately wanted us to lower the project by about $4 million. And this basically was the only other good option. And the low pressure system avoids expense required by down gradient construction, which is the deep sewers you have under the gravity feed system. You have to go much deeper because of the topography of the land. Minimizes ground disturbance. That was a major one because they can do this by direct drilling subsurface, and we don't have to disturb everything and cut trees down and tear up sidewalks. Basically your infrastructure. The only down item to it, which most people are not real happy with, is the grinder pumps. Each resident has to have a grinder pump located on their property. And it's basically like a big garbage disposal. It fits in a little plastic cylinder that's probably 6 feet tall. The individual property owner will have to supply a 220 circuit to the pump, basically. And that's all they're going to be out. The state's going to pay for everything else. And the cost will be $85 a month. I know people are not big on change, but from all the readings that we got on E. coli, it was much needed. The gravity system, one of the benefits of it was, it can be oversized to accommodate future growth. Basically, the low pressure system, you have to basically make an estimate of what you think it's going to be on growth and put your system in. But since we're doing this in stages, we thought that was the best way to save $4 million. And we won't disturb all the individual property owners' shrubs and trees, the sidewalks and streets. It's major disturbance when you put in a gravity system. And then their other choice was a hybrid system, which is basically a combination of those two. And like I said, you still had whatever the combination was and whatever percentage, you'd still be putting in a portion of a gravity system. As most of you are probably aware of, Posey County has had a decrease in population by 13.3% from 2000 to 2014. According to the projections from the Indiana Business Research Center, Posey County is expected to experience an overall negative growth through 2030. That was a major reason for the lack of growth, is the absence of a sewage system. Posey County Regional Sewer District plans on reversing that projection. I think out of that sewage system, we'll probably get at least 2 subdivisions, we hope. And of course, you know how it's gonna benefit the school system and residential. We're in dire need of residents in Posey County, and this is one of the major the broadband, which I'm gonna address here shortly. That's basically it on the sewage system. Anybody have any other questions on it, or I'm just trying to hit the highlights.
So when will when are they projecting the sewer system construction start?
Well, like I said, on 62, Harbortown's already in, that plant's in. Wadesville just started, we broke ground on it, March or February, latter part of March, I think, or February.
So when will
They're projecting a 14-month project, I think, to completion on that. The original was 24 months. And we told them we wanted to speed that up if we could possibly. So they revised some stuff and come at it from a little different direction. They think they can get it done a lot less time.
The whole
So,
thing will be operating and in use in 14 months.
Yes. yes, that'll be plant built and piping in the ground.
So when do they think we would be, what's the soonest you think a new subdivision could go in?
I mean, we're talking to contractors now, trying to get, investors. Of course, everybody wants to build 3 or 4 houses to an acre, as opposed to the situation the way it is now. They can only get 1 house to acre and a half or whatever with the gravity feed systems we have. So, I mean, we're actually working on that, talking to some people now. I've talked to Aaron Wilson. He's talking to some investors. So, I mean, this is real time. We're trying to get something going immediately. So let's see. Anything else on the sewer before I give a little update on the broadband?
And the pump station is gonna be is it Wadesville, Randy?
Yes, it'll be on Snyder Lane. If you're familiar with, if you head south down Springfield Road, you go past the Cemetery Road, which is Highbury Road. I think it'll be next road on your left. It connects to 62, that little road that goes through.
You can see them working on it.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's equipment out there now.
You can see they've done quite a bit of work out there.
Yeah, they're clearing the ground and stuff, setting it up for footers and stuff now. So, weather is going to be the only delay.
And it's gonna capture all of the area around South Harris?
Oh yeah, we're doing all of Wadesville and South Terrace area. I'm not exactly how far east it goes, because Wessler, our engineering firm, they drew up the plans on it. They changed where it began and ended. So, but it's gonna. We were getting, just off the top of my mind, we had readings of E. coli in very populated areas of 2,400 in 3 different areas, 2,400 plus. And of course, 1 is too many. I mean, that's basically raw sewage is what the situation was. And everybody thinks, oh, my system works fine. When we started getting these readings, and there was lakes that had 600. I mean, you wouldn't want your dogs drinking or playing it. Definitely wouldn't want to be swimming in it. So the state Indiana Finance Authority is 100% behind us on this, and they're going to see it through fruition. So we are very, very happy about the situation, because basically Posey County did not have the funding to get this project done. And Indiana Finance Authority stepped in and been great for us.
So so you're gonna talk about the broadband?
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna hit broadband a little bit here. Catch you up. We got, I'll give you some of the system specifications and stuff. I know everybody's system around here borders on terrible. Morley and Associates will be the engineer on the broadband project. They're using mainstream fiber networks. Charter, the parent company is Mainstream Charter Communications, and Spectrum will be installing the fiber optics. And for future updates, I'll try to keep Mike up to date on what's developing, but you can go to Mainstream's website, and they're supposed to be posting, advancement on the project.
Hopefully they'll come out towards us.
Yeah, they're starting at, it connects to Newburgh's Mainstream, comes through Vanderburgh County and over in the Park area somewhere, Park Settlement. They're coming through there, but they're splitting off. They're going towards Mount Vernon and going south down St. Philip's Road down that way, and then they're going to hit 66 going on. They'll go all the way through Poseyville to the line. Like I said, fiber optics will be installed. We're looking for 2 years for completion. Both of the companies have speeds of 200 megabits per second. Spectrum is offering a 1 gig, which is 1,000 megabits per second, which is, I think, currently the fastest system you can get. Just to give you some of the specifications on the 200 megabit system, you can get ultra high quality video on 8 devices at the same time. You can download an entire music album in 3 seconds. You can download a high quality movie in 3 minutes. Let's see, download speeds, retrieve data, which is the most important. Upload speeds, send data. I mean, my current system is so bad. I mean, I think I bought 10 megabits and I'm getting about 5 probably. If it was monetary, I'd be in poverty. It thing's so slow, it's terrible. So, and I know a lot of people don't even have that. So, I can feel for everybody else. I mean, this system's going to be such an upgrade. I mean, it'll be great for all the schools for sure. But 100 to 200 is considered an ideal system for households currently. That's considered fast. The Rural Digital Opportunity Fund, this is federal assistance. They injected money into the construction and operations of rural broadband with a total package. This is nationwide of $20.4 billion over a 10-year period. The most needed areas were addressed first, 25 megabytes per second or less. I think they got 5 million each from the federal government. Okay, now we're going to get down to latest list of roads that they're running cable on now. Is Bobo Road, Scott Lane, Old Highway 66, St. Philip's Road, Country Homes, Ramsey Road, Clearview, Posey County Line, Pinewood Court, Woodstone Lane, Cedar Court, St. Phillips Road, Wines Apple Road, Upper Mount Vernon Road, $5 Road, Slakestone Court, Carroll Heights Lane, Shady Lane, All Tidy Road, Copper Line Road, Ford Road, Middle Mount Vernon Road, Midway Lane, Wilderman Road, Pebble Lane, Joyce Lane, Waltz Road, Autumn Drive, Sassafras Drive, Red Leaf Drive, and Maplewood Drive. Of course, a lot of those are subdivisions.
So you said that's a 2-year project?
Overall, yeah, it's gonna be done in 3 phases. This is the initial phase 1 here. Let's see, I mean, we've been working on this for a year and a half, you know, all preliminary and getting everything we needed declared, everything from the state, the counties. It's a lot of coordination involved before you ever get started on a project like this. Let's see here, what else was there? Oh, yes. Mainstream determined that the best solution to bring service to Posey County was, as I alluded to earlier, come through Warwick County, to Vanderbilt County, and then into Parker Settlement. I think they've been working with CenterPoint to do some of this. Most of it's going to be overhead aerial lines. That's what sped the project up. They got an agreement with CenterPoint, and instead of doing everything subterranean, they're going to do like 25%, I think, be underground. The rest of it be overhead. It started in February of this year. Projected route includes approximately 93 miles. Mainstream states that 85% of the project will be aerial fiber, mostly utilized on CenterPoint's poles. What haven't I got? Mainstream anticipates first round of customers connections to be made mid-year this year, 2022. So mid-year, the first phase, people will actually be put up.
We're scheduled for May 11th.
Really?
No, at home.
So they've already contacted you?
East
Yeah.
to west, I guess.
And that's through Spectrum? Or?
Yeah, through Spectrum.
They're running down St. Phillips. And then
Well, that makes me feel bad because we haven't been contacted.
Well, we don't have Spectrum service as of right now. Spectrum will come to our neighborhood.
But if they're going to Shady Lane, well,
I know, that's what, I don't know how they'll have to expand at that point, I would
Yeah.
assume.
You can go online. I just happened to see the guy walking through our neighborhood and I checked online too. So,
Yeah, I haven't even been on their website. This is just information they sent us. They're kind of tied on the information they give out. It's a little slow.
so the challenge that we're running into as a school, and I know you're hearing this all throughout the county, but you know, we went to one-to-one devices 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So all of our kids have Chromebooks,
Right.
and you know, all their textbooks and stuff are basically on, well, Sean's got one right back there, but you know, at home, if they can't utilize the internet, a lot of their stuff is not accessible. They've gotten a lot better to where it is accessible, but you know, like we ran into an issue that like our house, because we don't have service, but like my daughter would download something like a paper or whatever that she's supposed to work on. Well, some of it would download, which she thought was the whole paper, but our internet's so bad it wasn't downloading the whole document or the whole package. So she was missing some stuff, and it makes it really hard to send and receive. And
I'm impressed with all the data and how fast this is going to be. Everything we got from all the technicians, that it's going to be such an improvement. Like I said, you can use 8 devices at one time in the same house.
so do you know, is this gonna, after this project is done in 2 years, is it gonna are we gonna have like 100% coverage
Yeah, that's what we're shooting
through our
for.
county? So anybody that has a house,
Right.
they'll have high-speed internet.
Like I said, they're headed towards Mount Vernon off of Copper Line or something, I think, going that direction. So we're going every direction that you go. So
Okay.
we're hoping that, you know, it even beats their projections on, like, they're shooting for mid-year this year for the first phase. That's the slowest phase, I think, and then phase two, and it speeds up even more because they've got all the major lines, and they'll just be cutting off of those, doing hook-ins and ties. That's about all I have.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Appreciate it. You guys have a good one.
Thanks, Randy.
Sean's turn.
We'd invite you to stay for the rest of the meeting, but we understand if you wanna go.
I'm
This
like I
is
said, I'm
exciting
on
stuff.
4 other boards, so I can kind of hear me.
Understood. Thank you.
Professional meeting, man. Thank you.
Yeah, you're up.
You have in your packet this evening a agreement with Crane Federal Credit Union. Justin Schmidt sent me an email. This is mainly for us, our constituents who bank at Crane can get the North Posey debit card. And this just more or less, we sign off, you know, sending them our NP logo and stuff, and then they'll put that on there. So I just wanted to get approval from the board this evening for us to sign that contract, and really is no skin off our back, but it's just a way for us to allow our constituents to have their debit card for NP. So, and we also get a certain, I think, percentage back on that too. So,
Like a give back or whatever.
yeah, kind of like a give
A
back.
certain percentage.
Yeah, yeah. So
I think we've done this with Evansville teachers as well.
we have, yeah, we have. So this is just going with them too. So, John.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept the agreement with Crane for the debit cards.
Second.
Well, second it.
So we have a motion by Mr. Schmidt, seconded by Mr. Colley to approve the Affinity debit card agreement with Crane Federal Credit Union. Any comments or questions?
And this is a 3-year contract.
We love those multi-year contracts.
For this, it's.
Yeah, for this, it's okay. It's those service providers. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries.
Next up, we have Mr. Fisher here this evening to talk to you a little bit about some course additions for the 2022-2023 school year. You had those listed in your packet. So I'm going to turn it over to Sean, and he can answer any questions if you have any questions about that, and just kind of give an overview of why we are adding those courses. Sean, you may want to come over here.
I just wondered if you wanted to do that.
Yeah, come over here.
So that?
So you're on the TV.
Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted to be. Good. There's a maze here.
Come in just a little bit, Sean.
I'll roll up here. Rolling on in.
That's good. There you go. All right.
Sounds good. I just put together a short letter for this one. I had some course additions that we needed to put on here. Mr. Galvin let me know that, any course additions or changes need to go through the board, so that's what we're doing here. I'll get you a little clarification on a couple of these that kind of asking for some forgiveness instead of permission on, because we had to get the change made to make sure that we're doing okay with our graduation pathways. As in the description there, if you look at those course titles and numbers, the first one's quantitative reasoning. It's a dual credit course that we're adding because we have a dual credit credentialed math teacher that can teach that course. That one does not have anything to do with graduation pathways, which are the new, really the new mechanism by which kids graduate. We've been through that a little bit. So that's the only one that's outside of that. All the principles courses that you see in the list are the first course in a 3-course sequence. There is a 4th course called a capstone course that we can add down the road as we build out these pathways and develop them further. But the principles courses are the ones that are the first year course. And then you can see that some of them are related. So if you look down there, principles of broadcasting is one that's on there as the first year course. The audio and video production is the second year in a 3-course sequence. And then next year, we'll be requesting to add the third course in a 3-course sequence. And then hopefully the following year, we can build these completely out in a 4-course sequence and potentially have some work-based learning opportunities or some capstone opportunities for students at the end. So if you look at it, they pretty well follow. If you look at principles of construction, followed now by general carpentry, where that used to look something like intro to construction, followed by construction trades 1. Now it's going to be principles of construction, followed by general carpentry. And then the third course in the sequence, which is not on here, will be something called framing and finishing. So we'll ask for that one next year, and then followed by that. Looking at principles of advanced manufacturing, followed by advanced manufacturing technology. That's the same deal. It used to be, intro to manufacturing, followed by machine trades 1. So that's the way that one works. And then principles of agriculture is on there too. So that most of what's on there is a necessary change to keep up, with the changes that have been made to graduation pathways since its inception. They started off with something called Perkins 4 guidance, which was a course sequence. Then they simplified it and made it a Perkins 5 guidance, which I really liked, which was just 2 advanced courses. They didn't worry about the principles course. And then now they've come back to a 3 to 4 course. They've changed it 3 times in 3 years. I really like it. It's just keeping up with it. It's been no easy task. So, but just wanted to get some clarification for the board on what we're doing and why we're doing it.
This is underneath the next level, isn't it?
This is the next level pathways of study. And these are all mapped as well. That's good. Thank you for saying that. They're mapped over to dual credit opportunities with Ivy Tech. And then of course, the credentialing's got to be there from the instructor for us to be able to offer the actual dual credit. And in many cases, we're doing that.
These are not additional classes, all of them. Don't they replace some of the classes?
Yes, these
Especially
are all
in-
replacements to get compliant with next level pathways of study, with the exception of quantitative reasoning. That's an add.
The, just kind of give a quick update on that NCCER, which will be coming out next month in the textbook adoption, but that's a accreditation we've got through Ivy Tech, if I remember right.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Ivy Tech up north, they're not offering that through the local Ivy Tech. Really, Mr. Wallace, Mr. Brandel, who teach construction, was looking at maybe a curriculum that had some direct mapping to some Ivy Tech courses. And this NCCER is really just, I hate to call it a credentialing group that gives the curriculum, really the online, the book work that goes with the hands-on experience that happens down there. And it provides them they don't need a book. It's going to provide the whole thing as far as that goes. I think there may be a classroom set they're going to ask for. That's going to be next month. But we're only doing that with construction. So that'll be the bookwork side of the construction course.
I think it's electrical, plumbing,
They've got some of those in there.
and I can't remember if there was HVAC in it or not, but I think it's certification is what they'll come out of it with. And so it's definitely going to strengthen it. I know to my knowledge, there's not a lot of schools down here that do it. So I think it's something that's going to be a nice feather in our cap to actually give our kids that credentialing. So, yeah.
Is this available for upcoming freshmen then?
The principles courses would be the freshman course.
Okay, so if they've taken the intro course,
Well, we
they
switched.
could go into the,
They could go into the next one. Now, one of the things we're kind of changing the wheels on the bus as it's rolling here. So that makes things just a little more complicated. If last year's group that took intro is taking, for example, construction trades 1 this year, next year they'll take construction trades 2, but this year's principals kids will take the new course.
Okay.
So we're doing this while it's rolling.
Mhm.
And that it's fun. And I actually have a spreadsheet I can share with you to show you.
I like
you asked,
spreadsheets.
Mr. Schmidt. Yeah, I've got this
Sean,
here.
if I remember right, was it last year or was it this year that we had 3 different graduation pathways in the building? I mean, there was kids were on 3 different.
Last year,
I
because you
think it
still
was
would have
last
had an
year, wasn't it?
ECA, you still would have
Yeah.
had the ISEP.
So we had 3 different pathways.
We have that now, actually. We have that now. This is the last year for that, where students, we have seniors that can graduate by passing the ISTEP test in their diploma. We have some seniors that could, even though we don't have many of these, 1 or 2 maybe, they could get the GQE waiver if they didn't pass the test and earn the credits. And then they can also have the option to do graduation pathways. And there's also a graduation pathway waiver. So really, I'm liking the opportunities for students, but I'm also ready to get moving down the road and do this graduation pathways with everything we've got, so.
So you really have hope that they'll convince us to one and not change this? into-
Well, no, I
Yeah.
I have a fair amount of confidence that they won't go back to a test, you know, to graduate, at least in the short run. I have no confidence that they won't change this course.
There you go. I
Yeah,
love your optimism.
yeah. So that's where we're at. If you have any questions, always feel free to reach out. Try to answer.
Well, I really commend you. I think, and for everybody that's been part of this, I agree with Mike. I think it's gonna give us an additional thing to toot our own horn and kind of say that we're doing something creative and what's needed in our community and
Yeah, you
give a
know,
valuable service, so.
I appreciate you saying that. You know, I do think we're well positioned. We've been working really hard recently on kind of just discovering how we're doing even against our peers, and we're pretty good shape on pathways right now. As far as how many we offer, and right here at North Posey. You know, that's in addition to what is available through the SICTC, but we're doing a lot right here.
I agree.
So do
Good
you
job,
expect to keep kids here who are currently going to tech school?
Well, what this will do more than anything is it will provide them more opportunities to choose from. That doesn't mean they won't elect to still go there if there's a program that we don't offer. But we have 8 pathways. I think we offer 2 agriculture and 6 others. It just makes them, we provide a lot of opportunities right here. That's not to say that someone will say, well, I'm going to go to diesel tech. That's what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? And they'll go over there, and we want to provide that opportunity, but we're way better positioned than we would be if we only had 2 or 3 pathways.
I think the one thing that Sean and Michelle and I, and even Jody to some extent, been working on is kind of what we talked about when I was interviewing for this job, of finding what's our niche. What is something that, we can't compete against Sick Tech, but what is something that we can offer here in our building, keep our kids here, that we can possibly even pull in some Evansville kids because they don't offer a program down there. So those are some things that we're definitely talking about, and agriculture is definitely one of those.
And it meets the needs of our community.
Correct. Yeah. We have some other things, but I'm gonna keep those for kind of surprise later on.
We love surprises.
I
Good
know,
surprise.
I know, they're good surprises.
All right. Thanks, Sean.
Hold back up.
Yeah, no tripping, breaking that.
So you do both on that.
Yes. All right, so we'll entertain a motion to approve Mr. Fisher's recommendation for the additional courses as for 22-23.
I'll make a motion to approve Mr. Fisher's course additions.
Second?
I'll second.
So a motion by Mr. Oakley, seconded by Mrs. Will. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. The motion carries.
Next up this evening, we have been working with Easter Seals to provide our physical therapy for, I have no idea how many years, but it's always been through Posey County Special Services. So what you're going to probably see over the next few months is that we begin the dissolution. There are going to be some things that we had to pick up on our own, and the physical therapy contract is one of them. And so I got that for you this evening, the contract. It's mainly just a continuation of what we have been doing in the past, because it's coming underneath us rather than being underneath Mount Vernon. So we bring that forward this evening. We don't have a full-time physical therapist. This is just mainly when we're needing the services, they'll provide the services to us, is what it mainly is. So we bring that forward this evening for your consideration. Elise, do you want to say anything about that?
I think you covered it all.
Okay, all right.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept the physical therapy rates from Easter Seals.
Second.
I'll second.
So a motion by Mr. Schmidt, seconded by Mr. Colley. Any comments or questions?
Is this for students that we would have that would need
Yes.
physical therapy?
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's special
That'd be
needs
part of
kids.
their
Their IEP.
The IEP.
Are we
And-
currently doing that at all? Or- Okay.
But it's done through Posey County Special Services.
Okay.
So it's kind of the way it's handled now.
So
So,
we were paying for it indirectly.
right. just,
Mr. Gavin, I will chime in. So, it's for the students who would qualify for those services, so it's not necessarily something like that is just to hand it out. So a student that would need the physical therapy to access their education, they would qualify through that evaluation, and so that's why we would need a physical therapist, to work with our students.
So I'm on their board. Does that constitute a conflict of interest on this? Do I need to abstain or am I okay?
what do you think? I think you're
We
fine.
were already in
Do I?
Yeah,
we were already
we
in
were
a
already in it,
contract with them. I
so-
think it's
I just want to disclose that.
Yeah.
You're not
I think disclosure is all you need
benefiting
to
from
do.
it
Okay.
at all, so, yeah.
So we have a motion by Mr. Schmidt, seconded by Mr. Colley. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries.
Next up this evening, you have a list of professional leave requests there. Brittany Butner to attend a DOE workshop. Rochelle Belt, Haley Elpers, and Amber Oakley to SIEC workshop on number sense with iLearn in mind. Michelle and I attending the Indiana Association of Superintendents Spring District in Service in Jasper. That's the regional meeting, and then the central office going to the Indiana Association of School Business Officials Annual Conference in French Lick.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the professional leave request as presented.
Second.
I'll second it.
So a motion by Mrs. Will, seconded by Mr. Schmidt to approve the professional leave request. Any comments or questions? I'm just glad we're getting ready. We're actually leaving the building, going somewhere.
We are.
Congratulations for that, right? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Good news report.
I went ahead and combined March and April for you, since I didn't have it for you for March. I figured it would just be easier than sending it in mid-month. But some awesome activities going on, educational opportunities, service to community, great things going on. A big one that didn't really make the report this time, it just wasn't submitted in the report. And after I had submitted, I thought, man, I was on the trip and I missed it. But the Washington DC trip was a great success as well. And there's some pictures I can share out. We've got a Google folder with some pictures if you want to see those. But it was a fantastic trip. It was fast and furious, but the students really enjoyed it. We did a survey after, and I'll just share that survey with you and the photos so you can get a sense of what students said about the trip. But it was a really great trip, and we're already looking to see what's going to be in 2 years. So.
Yeah, I got the pleasure of joining the trip with you, and
Yeah.
so did Vince.
And
Greg.
Greg.
The only one we were missing was Mr. Colley.
Me.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
He can't see you.
You're in the corner. I got a bad eye.
I've made a bunch of those trips, I know.
It was really fun. I do think the kids had a really good time, and as talking to some of them, some of the adults, I think, the opportunity that some of those kids got because of the trip were probably a once in a lifetime trip for those kids.
It's incredible what they.
So kudos to Brandon Barrett for
Yes.
organizing that. Chris
as
Barker. I know Mr. McMahon was on that trip. Who else helped me out? I know you
Mrs.
were.
Oakley.
Mrs. Oakley,
Man.
Brian Wilson,
Mhm.
Tony Wilson, Nathan Stone. But I know
And her husband.
some of those were maybe off-duty educators that were never off-duty. They were totally on duty the whole time, and
Mhm.
it just goes to show you the community involvement there.
Jennifer Kiesel.
And her husband. They were on there.
Kudos.
That's all we have, Mr. President.
All right.
We do have Steve. Steve's a little quiet, which is normal, and not normal. He's usually not this quiet, so.
I thought he was just here because he wanted to be.
I got you.
I want to see you guys.
Yeah. Wheel your little cart up. Gotta be up in the air.
Tell me what's for now.
Keep going.
The cart's in.
There you go.
There you
All
go.
right.
April is the junior high's turn to give a quick overview of how things are going this year. I thought I'd list a few accomplishments, some changes that we have coming up, some things that were fixed from last year, and some hopes for the future. So some of the things that was kind of cool, our digital media class we've had for a few years now, joined a competition with the Indiana Department of Homeland Security. I think it's What's Shaking. Anyway, we won a seismograph with the video that they submitted. So that was really good. State champs in Spellbow competition, PAC champs in both volleyball and girls basketball this year. Had a great showing for the kindness campaign. I don't know if you've been through the junior high foyer, where our kindness tree, I think there were 760 some acts of kindness, with each of those hearts were the leaves on the tree. So that's kind of neat. STEM school-wide projects. We did a miniature golf course in the fall, the Santa chair competition right before Christmas break. We've had the balloon car races, and as we begin the iLearn testing process next week, which is hard to believe, we have the bridge challenge and the egg drop challenges coming up during that time. With the set while the 8th grader testing, the 7th grader going to do it, while the 7th grade's testing, the 8th grader going to partake. We thought that'd be a good use of time with a group that's not testing. Some changes that will be coming to you. We put out our electives for the 8th graders, and we looked at our data. We did a survey of our staff and of our students in regards to basically the question, to the students, what would you like to see? And to the staff, if you had your extra class, what would you like to teach? And we came up with 4 new classes that would fit the pathways for the high school pretty well. So we scrapped the first set that we had the kids fill out. We added those classes and did it again. The classes that we are looking at adding are Intro to Agriculture. Mrs. Lashley would teach. Mr. Barrett would teach Modern U.S. History since World War I. Construction and Green Architecture would be taught by Mr. Welch. And Ms. Farrar as a Project Lead the Way class of Energy and Environment. Other junior high electives that we've had for a while, Strength and Conditioning, Art 2, which is Graphics and Design, Tech 2, which is Project Lead the Way. All our 7th graders take Project Lead the Way, and then they have the opportunity to take another class with it their 8th grade year. Course Band and Chorus, Digital Media class, which I talked about in Yearbook. Fixed from last year, Mr. Wilson came down and worked on our sound system in the MLC, so that's up and running now. The safety latches on the basketball goals. I've been worried about that for a few years, where the high school have I call it like a safety latch or safety belt style, and where if for some reason that cord would break, that's the catch that would keep it safe. So we got those installed. The other thing for our custodian's sake is, I don't know if any of you have seen the big drill that we've had to pull in to crank up it's really not very safe at all. So thank you for the little key switch. So now it's just a flip and our goals go up. So that was really, again, a safety feature that's nice to have.
If anybody's ever used one of those reels, they'll definitely thank you for the switch.
It will jerk you, especially when you get the end. The rock garden is now the garden. I don't know how many tons of rocks we pulled out of there last year, but the student council is taking zones. So I think they're having a day of caring, and the week after next week, where they're going to clean it. Then they're going to have another half day where they're going to go out there and put the plants out, where hopefully it will be warm enough at that time. Changes before next year. I received a donation as well as some fundraiser money for the window screens for the front, as well as the MLC entrance. There will be more of just the North Posey clean front. Then we're gonna have all the athletics as well as the academics, National Junior High Society emblem, Student Council emblem on the MLC entrance. New central air, I believe for the office areas get replaced this summer. Possible, something that we're looking at, working on the grant is the possible alternative education classroom as well / in-school suspension room by the library foyer. There's a lot of needs for this, both for the junior high and high school, where for the high school side, credit recovery, as well as that group of kids that just don't quite fit in, the traditional schedule. We talk about that group that you'd hire them quick. They're hard workers. They'll do what they're told. They just can't be in a school setting. They struggle with it. With that group, trying to find a way to meet them where they can still succeed, get a high school diploma on time, helps the kid. Because and we're redoing the research right now, cutting down on discipline problems for other kids trying to learn in the classroom, as well as, again, just being good for those kids as well as the rest of the school. Also, on the other side of that, I think I've shared with a lot of you the issues with vapes. Right now, if a kid gets caught with a vape, we're either kicking them out of school or they're several days in the office. We're looking for a better educational experience. They're still getting punished, but at the same time, we're not sending them home and where the learning's not happening. So we're trying to figure out if these two can mesh and create one program. As we look into it, it could be two programs, but at the same time, how do we fit that need of kids that get caught with something where they're expelled? Well, are they just going to stay home? Are we going to still be able to provide some type of education for them? I have an 8th grader right now sitting at home because he got expelled in something bad enough. He deserved to be expelled, but he's still going to be a freshman next year. So he's sitting at home for 4 months and not getting an education. He deserved it, but it's still not good for him.
So how's he get expelled and get promoted? How's that happen?
Well, you look at a couple things, scores. You look at the not only ISEP scores, but the grades he's gotten in the past. You look at what he's accomplished. Has he met enough of the standards at the junior high level to deserve promotion? That's really what we've looked at. And again, if he's getting that much trouble as an 8th grader, you want him next to these kids coming into 6th graders. And I also put that as one of the things that we look at. Is he going to be an influence that I want my 6th graders to be a part of? So it's a good question because I struggle with that sometimes too. Does that kid really deserve to be promoted? But I try to look at that whole picture. Obviously, talking to my social worker now and my counselor and some of the teachers and making a good educated guess of where that kid should be next year.
So are we forced to bring in, well, I don't know, in this case, an 8th grader that gets expelled, are we forced to accept them as a freshman the following year? I mean, is it just a year-by-year situation?
It's a year-by-year situation. You don't have to. And it's really not even a year-by-year. It's a case-by-case situation.
If you have a kid that have 4 scores and 4 grades, they wouldn't be promoted then.
Again, I try to look at the whole picture. It is a case-by-case situation.
Lots of times, what you struggle with in K through 8, not so much kindergarten and 1st grade, because a lot of times there it's a maturity situation. They're not ready to move to that next phase. When you get into the junior high, there are just some kids that are unmotivated to do the work and stuff. And so sometimes when you move them onto the high school, that the ability to have those credits and stuff becomes kind of more of a factor in motivating them. So, but I understand what you're saying. It's hard sometimes because you go, well, they really didn't complete the whole year. Why are we moving them on? And sometimes that's the issue is you feel like you've got a little bit, I don't know, maybe more leverage or something over them as they move into the high school. So
there is one more point with that I think is probably one of the most important. You have a kid that's not really liking school. He gets in trouble enough to get removed for the last few months of school. He's what? 14 years old, let's say. Well, you are taking that kid, if you're putting him back in 8th grade, a whole year's worth of possible credits away from him. When he turns 18, he has to stay in school until he's 18. But when he's 18, he can quit school. If I give him that year of credits, he's going to be that much closer to graduation. He's more likely to graduate high school than if I would have retained him that 8th grade year.
And that's the
To me,
kind of
that's
piece
the
I
most
was gonna
important.
add, that the research, you weigh this in, you weigh the scores, you weigh the developmental level, but the research really shows that if you retain a student, not just kindergarten is a whole different beast, but anywhere past kindergarten, if you retain them in that grade level, the graduation rate after one retainment drops 50%. So you're really weighing that graduation rate at the end, even though maybe they weren't successful in that 8th grade year. Again, sometimes a reset, sometimes a new year, sometimes, more interventions in place can help, but that standard research across the board shows even one retention drops automatically almost 50%.
And we have retained in junior high. A lot of the times it deals more with maturity as much as the academics. And it's been successful in retention, but I do think they're far and few between at this grade level.
So are there cases, I mean, I guess it's something, can we expel them from the corporation, or you can't do that? So they're expelled, but then they have the opportunity to come back the following year.
The maximum that you can do is 1 year, one
Does-
total year.
Does the
That's on
junior,
our weapons usually.
does the junior high discipline follow with them to high school, or do they start afresh?
Good question. Every year, discipline starts over for every kid. Now, if they're expelled, that'll stay with them. If they're, but as far as what they do on a given year, that starts over. Now, there are cases of suspended expulsions can carry over a semester, but very seldom does anything from what they did there. Like if they did something in April as a 7th grader and they come back in August, well, I'm keeping that. No, I can't do that. They start over. They deserve that fresh start.
I knew that, but I didn't know what the suspensions would.
Only a suspended expulsion really is one that would carry over. Anyway, that's a program that we're working with Mrs. Walden on, trying to see what we can come up with the high school as well as the junior high with that. Some larger projects that will be needed at some time in the future. The PE/ECA locker rooms in the junior high, especially the boys, it's getting dated. We've gone through that a few times. Remodel the science classrooms. I know I keep bringing this up and it's almost bringing a chuckle at this point, but a need for a second gym in the junior high. Really would love the opportunity to send all my kids home at 5:30 instead of that second batch coming into 5:30, stay until 8 o'clock, then having to do homework, get ready, eat, and by the time they get to bed. Would love everybody to be home at 5:30 on practices. Discussions for a middle school. I don't know. I don't know if we talked about that much. Things that we would need. We'd have to change the fitness room over, as well as the 2 classrooms behind the MLC. Remodel classrooms and new furniture for where the special ed rooms and existing fitness room are now, and that would be my 6th grade wing. There's a lot of pros and cons and discussions, but one thing that I would say, and a junior high has worked for several years. I'm not saying it's not working or it can't work. Some of the benefits that could be as a middle school, obviously across the state, I've said this before, 6th grade is tied with 7th and 8th as far as curriculum, as far as textbooks and those types of things. Yes, we are making that work and that's fine. Probably the greatest advantage of becoming a middle school would be the electives for 6th graders. If they take art, music, tech, computer science as 6th graders, that's still tied to elementary. If they took it as a middle school, that same art, tech, computer science, that fulfills an elective as a middle school, which opens up their ability for 7th and 8th grade to take our other electives, such as the intro to ag, the other classes that we were just mentioning. So all of a sudden, we can get them on that gateway quicker, or that pathway, quicker for high school maybe offer more high school credits down the road if they had some of these things fulfilled their sixth grade year. And I don't mean out of the way, but taking care of that sixth grade year. Does that make sense? Okay. So to me, that's one of the greatest advantages.
And that can't happen because they're in a separate building now?
And it's not just a separate building, they're labeled as an elementary school. They're not tied to us. It's,
You're also limited by the electives that you have in those elementary buildings. So, and pretty well, our elementary has, you've got your STEM classes that they offer. Innovation, thank you. Music, art, and PE, and that's pretty well it that they offer there. So.
and again, even though they've taken art in sixth grade, it's tied to elementary, so we can't use that as a junior high or middle school credit. If there's any questions about anything with the junior high?
If you move the sixth grade here, you absolutely have to have another gym then, don't you?
Well, that would be helpful. Two. Yeah, well, then I want to get this gym, now I'll start complaining about a third. No, I won't do that, I promise. Well.
Don't make no
Yeah, that's
promises.
it.
Don't make no
I was just thinking
You're
about that. Yeah, turn that off. Anything else? Thank you, guys. I appreciate all you guys do.
Appreciate it very much.
Thank you. I move my little cart back.
There you go. That's it, right?
Yep, that's it, Mr. President.
Does anybody else have anything for the good of the order? All right, our next board meeting will be Monday, May 9th. It'll be back here, be the high school version. Executive session, if we need it, will be at 5:30, and then regular meeting will be at 6:30. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay. So motion by Mrs. Will, seconded by Mr. Schmidt to adjourn. We are so adjourned. Thank you.